On behalf of the Society for Srimanta Sankardeva, I welcome you all to this webinar organized in association with NAAM Association of America. It is the fourth webinar in a series that is broadly outlined as different phases of Sankardeva studies. Today's webinar is specifically on the topic Christianity and Ekasarana Naamdharma. The comparison between Christianity and Ekasarana Naamdharma is very important because both the orders are monotheistic. Some basic similarities are there between both orders, like absence of idolatry. The monasteries of Christianity and the sutras of Ekasarana Naamdharma have some common grounds. There is huge scope for comparative work between these two religions. So on this topic today, we have as speaker Dr. Binoy K. Bordoloi, who is the chairman of NAAM Association of America. He is a great scholar and biotechnologist with MSc from Delhi University, PhD from New York University, as well as MBA from California University. He delivers guest lectures in Rutgers University every year. Earlier, he worked with Baxter Healthcare, Johnson & Johnson, etc. Then he set up his own firm, Bordoloi Biotech, in 2010. Dr. Bordoloi is a philanthropist who has donated a building to the Jorhat Sahitya Sabha. He also runs a college in his father's name at Dekajuli. He's a leading personality of Assamese diaspora in USA. Now over to Dr. Binoy K. Bordoloi.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Borkagati. Thank you for the very nice welcome you have given me. And good morning to you all, those who are joining from North America, and good evening or good afternoon to you, those who are from India or surrounding places around. Here, it is my pleasure to speak before you all. And thank you, Dr. Borkagati, for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts with you together. This talk is prepared with a deck of slides so that it is easy for me to speak and as well as share the content to you. I will obviously not read each and every point, but only go over a few of the key points and highlights. And then the way I'm understanding is that we will continue, say, for about 40 minutes or so. And then the question answer will be then organized and Dr. Borkagati will moderate that. In this talk, it is not only talk, I thought that we should also show some videos so that one can see what is it that we are talking about in various cultures. So I have organized 3 videos also during this presentation. We'll run the videos in their due places during the presentation. Okay, so this is as it stated here. We are talking about Dr. Borkagati has been organizing different facets of Sankardeva studies. And today's talk, there's a 4th lecture in his series, is Christianity and Ekasarana Naamdharma. So this is a continuous program. I came to know that his 5th lecture will be on Guru Nanak and Ekasarana Naamdharma. So we are very pleased because there are synergies between what we are trying to do in NAAM Association of America and what he is trying to accomplish via the Society for Srimanta Sankardeva. Now, for those who are not familiar, we welcome you to visit us at our website, naamghar.org. We spell it as NAAMGHAR.org. Okay, so this is the table of content. I prepared basically a few slides to talk for a half or 40 minutes. We go over the concepts of Hindu mind, and then the essential elements of Hinduism and where Ekasarana Naamdharma resonates. We go over the key attributes of Ekasarana Naamdharma, and then we'll talk a little bit about Christianity. Here I have collected information from a few people, and they are Catholics by religion, actually Irish American. So I have taken their input for my Christianity section. And then I have collected information from books and literatures to comparison of Hinduism and Christianity, the major beliefs. I've collected videos to show about the rituals typically in a Naamghar, and also what happens in a Catholic church here in Sacramento, California. And then we'll talk about a few highlights during Shankardeva's life, what other events were happening during his lifetime, so that we kind of get a perspective. So in India and Europe in those days. And then we come to comparison of Majuli Satra with a Catholic monastery, which I'll elaborate a little bit more. And then we talk about the videos of when Hotorikar visited us. We had a formal welcome. We invited him to a place here for our get-together and Hongorde Pithi. So we organized a Gayan Vayan, and then I'll show you a table of references. We have about a dozen references, and then it'll open up for question and answers. We talk about the early period was say 6000 BC before Christ. That is the Rig Vedic hymns were created. Then you talk about a later Vedic period, 1500 to 300. And that is the time period when Vedic mantras were recorded. And then we talk about Upanishads also during that time. The Hindu mind evolves from the worship of the natural forces to the all-encompassing universal spirit known as the Brahmans in the Upanishads. The Brahman is the universe, is not to be confused with Brahma, the god of creation. I just wanted to make sure about that. And then you talk about the Sutra period. And then that is the period where Buddhism and Jainism evolved. Then you talk about the epic period. This is a period we know many literature, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, Manu Samhita, and so on. Now, out of all these, only two are itihasas, Ramayana and Mahabharata. And the way I understood, because I have been taking a few classes at the Hindu University of America now for about a year, and there are various scholars who talk about some of these aspects from various perspectives. There are speakers from US, from Europe, from India. So Ramayana and Mahabharata are two itihasas, and that means that it has three elements. Itihasas have history, there's storytelling, and they talk about dharma, what should be done, what shouldn't be done. So it is not history, but all three combined together. And one can have a big critique on each of these. I'll leave that out for today, but I just wanted to highlight that. Then we are talking about Puranic period. So this is the tantric literatures were evolved during that time. Then Darsana, and that is the period where India began to see the decline of Buddhism in India. It declined in India, but it began to grow in other Far East countries. And then the next period is what we call the Bhakti movement. It's 1000 AD to 1800 AD. This is the period it saw the rise of devotional worship expounded by various personalities and saints. For example, Guru Nanak in Western India and Sankaradeva in northeast part of India. And then when you talk about modern Hindu studies, Renaissance from 1800 to 1950 AD, that is the period we all know about well-known personalities like Swami Vivekananda, Mahatma Gandhi, and this is the period we talk about what is the philosophy behind Hindu Renaissance. It talks about divinity of the soul, universal tolerance and harmony, diversity of the human mind, purity of reasons and freedom of thought, non-violence and peaceful coexistence, reverence of all forms of life, whether it is cat or dog or any animal, all forms of life, and the laws of karma. It's basically a concept that as you sow, so you reap. So good karmas. But that's how it has evolved. So Hindus then believe in the following concepts. The creation. The Hindus believe that the universe is without a beginning, anadi, or without an end. It has no end. It is no beginning, no end, anadi ananta. Universe is projected in cycles. Whenever the word beginning and ends are used in Hindu scriptures, they simply denote the beginning of a particular cycle. And we talk about 4 yugas. Each cycle is divided into 4 yugas. The Satya Yuga, Tatra Yuga, Dwapara, and Kali. So at the end of the Kali Yuga, the life of a cycle, the universe dissolves by pralaya, and another cycle begins. Now, conceptually, every kalpa lasts 12 million human years. It is hard to comprehend, or obviously looking for evidence is impossible. But that is the concept. So now coming to supreme reality. The Hindus believe that the supreme reality has 2 aspects: transcendental or impersonal, and immanent, personal. In transcendental aspect, it is called by various names. Supreme Self, ultimate reality, Nirguna Brahma. So supreme reality is considered formless, attributeless, immutable, indeterminate, and so on. So in Assam, we talk about Niranjana, Nirakar, Nirvikar, and Niramay. So it's a situation of supreme reality is the nature of absolute existence, absolute knowledge, and absolute bliss. So Hindu philosophy again talks about incarnation. Whenever the righteousness declines and unrighteousness rises, God incarnates himself on earth in human form to restore righteousness. We talk about the concept of Atma. Atma is immortal and divine. Atma means God within. it is usually translated as soul or spirit. So when you talk about in Bhagavad Gita, the war between Krishna and Arjuna, the dialogue, there is Krishna is seen as an external person and what should be done or what should not be done. But actually Krishna is inside us. It is our own, in your heart, that it is inside us, a soul or spirit. Then you talk about moksha. The ultimate goal of Hindu religious life is to attain freedom from the cycle of birth and death and attain union with God. And the union can be achieved through true knowledge, jnana, devotion, bhakti, right work is karma. And then we talk about gurus. Let me see if I get that. I'm blocking my screen. 1 second. Okay. So true guru is a God-realized master. He or she teaches us by setting an example of his or her daily life and acts of his life. Srimanta Sankaradeva was such a guru. He is the one who started the Neo-Vaishnavite movement. When you talk about the concept of doctrine of karma, so ignorance is viewed as the cause of bondage or maya. All the material world that you see, all this is all maya. The knowledge is attained by the grace of God through Guru, burns his knowledge like lasting fire burns firewood of ashes. The aim of life, the unity of existence, the aim of life is to live harmoniously on earth and seek union with God. Sometimes the screen doesn't move. I don't know why, but let me see if I can make it move to that. Okay. Now this one. So dharma, Hindus believe that dharma is essential for accomplishing our material and spiritual goals and for the growth of the individual and the society. This is a very key concept. So Srimanta Sankaradeva preached about Ekasarana Naamdharma. He taught that one needed to worship only one God for spirituality. So he talked about Krishna, whether it is Kirtan Ghoha or anywhere, or his devotional poems that you read or sing, let's talk about Krishna. In Hindu concepts, then we talk about a universal prayer towards the end of it. The universality of prayers is a great feature of Hinduism. The prayer is designed for all of mankind at the conclusion of their worship or religious ceremony. Now to end with a universal prayer of the Hindu mind, Sarve Bhavantu Sakhina, may all of mankind be happy. Sarve Santu Niramaya, may all of mankind be healthy. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantya, may all of mankind experience prosperity. Ma Kasitya Dukha Bhagat Bhavet, may none of the world suffer. And similarly in Ekasarana Naamdharma also, there are various devotional songs created by Sankaradeva. In Kirtan Ghosa, for example, I'm just picking up a short verse. Nahi bhakataka jaki ajati bisar, Krishna bhakti Homatore Odhikar. It's from the Kirtan. There is no difference of upper class or lower class of worships of God. It is a birthright of all to worship God. That is the message he wanted to get across. Now, so what are the key attributes of Ekasarana Naamdharma? So he was born in the 15th century Assam. He propagated the Neo-Vaishnavite religion, tried to eradicate casteism, socioeconomic classes from the society. Everybody was equal once entered in Namghar. Doesn't matter what social status one enjoyed in society. The Ekasarana Naamdharma, the religion he propagated, was scientifically thought out and to believe in only one God. He composed devotional songs, not in Sanskrit, so that common men could understand. So he basically picked an artificial language created by the medieval poets at that time, known as Brajavali. It was also in West Bengal that time. Brajavali was there in West Bengal. And this great poet, dramatist, actor, musician, dreamt of an egalitarian society. So his religion had a great impact in the formation of the Assamese society in the northeastern region of India. And various literature you find on Sankardeva. I just picked only one of Sahityarati Lakshmanath Bezburwa, very eminent Assamese literature. And he made a comment in the introduction of his great work, Mahapurush Sri Sankardeva and Sri Madhavdev. I have this book. The Sankardeva went against the tyrannical kings and powerful. At that time, the priest community were very powerful. So the evil-minded folks, he was organizing, and he wanted to propagate his religious philosophy of Ekasarana Naamdharma fearlessly at the risk of his own life. But that takes a lot of sincerity and devotion. Now, Neo-Vaishnavite philosophy and the practice in Majuli. So what we see now in Majuli, and after all these years, after 500, 600 years, that there is non-observance of Durga Puja, a Shakti worshipping festival, is a noticeable feature of Majuli, a fact endorsing the cultivation of Vaishnava faith. At a time when the rest of the state or country get involved in the pompous and ceremonious autumn festival worshipping Durga, Majuli is found to solemnly yet ceremoniously observe Vaishnava festivals. For example, Srimanta Sankardeva's Janmotsav, Rakh Lila, always October, November timeframe, Palnam. These are some of the key things one observes in Majuli. This is suggestive of the width and breadth of Neo-Vaishnavite faith in Majuli. Let's see. Sometimes it gets, okay. Now we talk to Christianity. The Christianity has three main denominations: Roman Catholic, Eastern Catholic, and Protestant. And Protestant itself has many numerous denominations. So worship of God in Christianity is a congregational with rituals centering around the place of worship in the church. It might be worth that there is a very broad range of liturgical traditions under the Christian umbrella, with some decidedly more simple than others. But historically, this has been the site of contention between different Christian denominations. For example, Protestants mostly, they favor a simpler form of worship than Roman Catholics and the Orthodox. The individual Catholic church is headed by a pastor, the head of the parish, and the term chief priest refers to the Holy Father, the Pope. So now then, how do they compare Hinduism versus Christianity? So these are some of the points I have compiled together in a tabular form. So Hinduism is the world's oldest surviving religion. It has no human founder. It is not founded by one saint or one guru. And it is beginningless as it predates recorded history. Whereas Christianity was founded by Jesus of Nazareth about 2,000 years ago in Israel. So major scriptures in Hinduism, we talk about Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, and epics and other sastras. The major scriptures in Christianity are the Bible, the Old and the New Testament. The Hinduism, we talk about three main denominations: Shaivism, Shaktism, and Vaishnavism. We will not get into details too much, but one can say that Madhavdeva was a believer of Shaktism, but in the debate, Shankaradeva converted him to be a Vaishnavite. So he became a Neo-Vaishnavite believer. Now, Christianity has, again, three main denominations, as I said: Roman Catholic, Eastern Catholic, Protestant, and which is numerous denominations. Now, what are the major beliefs in each? There is only one supreme being, is both immanent and transcendent, both the creator and the manifest reality. There is no duality of God and the world, but only unity. This is conceptually quite different from that of Christianity. So Christianity talks about one God who reveals himself as Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. God is creator, but is distinct from his creation. There is duality of God and the world. In Hinduism, as we said before, there is no beginning or end of the universe. Universes existed eternally and only undergoes cycles of creation, preservation, and dissolution. Then Christianity, one talks about the world once created by God, but corrupted by sin, and under a divine scheme, the world moves towards God for final perfection. Hinduism talks about soul. So soul is not created by God. It is part of God. It suffers the world due to Maya, it's cosmic ignorance. In Christianity, soul is created by an act of God. It suffers in the world for original sin. Upon death, in Hinduism, soul enters the astral world and remains there until it reincarnates in accordance with the laws of karma. The soul is born again and again as karma resolves. God neither judges nor punishes the soul. As such, there is no judgment day. Salvation or union with God is the goal of religious life. Now, this concept, these are conceptual, but I have read the book of, I've been the reference, Weiss. He is a clinician, he is a psychiatrist. And he actually was able to hypnotize and bring people to past lives. So he has written 4 books, Many Lives, Many Masters, Past Life Regression. He actually talks about in his book that how he was able to take care of some clinical aspects of psychological problems of his patients by bringing them back to past lives. I actually attended one of his seminars in New York City. It was attended by some 1,000 people. Very impressive. He stopped practicing. He now talks about these. But he also says that the belief is more prevalent in Far East countries and Japan, and not so much in the West. But there are folks who are believers. In Christianity, the soul enters heaven or hell depending on the quality of life. On the judgment day, the dead is brought to life again and rewarded or punished with eternal life with God or eternal hell, respectively. In Hinduism, proof of God's existence lies in direct communication with Him through the grace of a guru who guides an individual on a spiritual path. Whereas in Christianity, Jesus is God for the earth, and therefore only sure path to salvation. That is the way one believes. So in Hinduism, worship of God is in the form of a deity or a point of concentration, and is both ritualistic and meditative, centered around the temple or a home shrine or a Naamdharma. In temple, there may be a deity. In Naamdharma, there is no deity. It's only the Guru Akhan that houses maybe a Gunamala or a Kirtan, a spiritual book of Kirtan of that type. Worship of God is in Christianity congregational with simple rituals centering around the place of worship of the church. So now I wanted to show you Okay, so this was Gayan Ben and related ritualistic performances you see in a Namghar in Assam. And I wanted to show you, so this is a flavor of what we do in Shonkardeva's creation of combining of culture and Neo-Vaishnavism philosophy. Now, next, I wanted to show a video of a typical church ceremony in a Catholic church here in Sacramento, California. Okay, that is to give you an idea of a typical practices in a Catholic church. It is not so much in a Protestant church, but wanted to give you a glimpse of it. Now we come back to a few highlights of Shankardeva's life so that we can now compare his a church versus a monastery. So he was born in 1449, and he was 20-year-old when Guru Nanak was born in Lahore at that time in Pakistan. He started pilgrimage at the age of 43 when Christopher Columbus discovered America. Now he created the first drama, Chinya Jatra. He created that in 1493, and we all know about William Shakespeare as the father of all dramas, but Shakespeare was not even born yet. He came 115 years later. So this is how people do not know about Shonkardev. So the kings and queens of those days did not promote his philosophy and his social activities and cultural activities, and remain unknown. So the onus is on us. How do we educate other folks about this rich culture and philosophy that he created? He created the monastery, the Belguri Khotra in Majuli in 1517. And that is the time Martin Luther in Germany started the agitation for the Protestant section of Christianity. So that's when basically Protestant section started essentially. And then he continues. I don't want to go through all the details of it. Just want to highlight that, people talk about what are the events in India and outside during his time, what are some of the other well-known names. Well, Akbar was conquering a part of Rajasthan in those days. And that's when Shankardeva was 119-year-old. And he made Madhavdeva the heir to his vast literary assets and passes away with his disciples singing devotional song before his Namghar. So now to comparison of a Majuli Khatra with a Catholic monastery. So monasteries, in the case of nuns, it's called convents. So these monasteries house monks who have given their life to the services of God and will perform prayerful activities to serve the community. The pontiff at the Roman Catholic Church is the Pope, and they have a hierarchy. There's a Pope, then the cardinals, archbishops, bishops, and the priest. Now, whether Catholic or Protestant, they all have parishes. So parishes are large groups of worshiping lay people at the neighborhood churches, whether Catholic or Protestant. Individual Catholic church is headed by a pastor, is always a man, whereas the Protestant church is headed by a minister who can be a woman. Catholics have confessionals, but Protestants do not. So that is how Catholic, the monastery or convent organization is. And if you look at a Majuli Khatra, the Shankardeva's socio-cultural religious innovation was decentralized. It was a decentralized leadership management. So every Khatra has its independent Khatrathikar, who will be equivalent to the chief executive of a corporation. And he may have a committee of Bhakats, devotees, for their viewpoints. And the Khatrathikars do not report to any centralized authority. Now, Khatras in Assam do have what is called Khatra Mahasabha. It is like a convention of all the Khatras together. I think it is held every other year. So they have that, but there is no one person as the supreme in Shankardeva's philosophy, like in the case of the Pope in the Catholic way of beliefs. Earning a living. The living expenses in a Catholic system, as inmates are, they are from donations and alms and sponsorship. Certain orders earn money, but none is individually kept. I'll go back to the monastery or the convent. Whereas in a Khatra, Vakats live on agricultural activities. Khatras generate their own income from assets that they own. Also, they have donations received. Cultural activities. So there is no cultural activity requirement. Now they can have special calling for music or teaching, and quite often nursing that is there. But cultural requirement is not there. Whereas in a Majuli Khatra, participation by Vakats in Khatriya cultural activities is a requirement. One actually has to write a drama to be a Khatrathikar, you have to write books and write one or two dramas. So, and there's Hotriya dance, there are Borgits, and music and drama, we call them bhavanas. Bhavanas are nothing but dance dramas. So practicing celibacy. They're all celibates in the Catholic system. Roman Catholic priests take a vow of celibacy and abstain from sexual relations. Whereas Hotros have both celibates and householders, family men. Celibacy seems to be actually a minority. One example is Auniyati Hotra, because Hotra came to America. But so that is a very significant difference between Catholic system and our Hotro. Now here, when Hotra visited us in 2016, that was the first time ever a Hotra visiting North America. We invited him to participate with us at Hankodev Tithi. We organized the Bhavana. We did it at the Balaji temple here in Bridgewater. And when he came along with 3 or 4 vocals of his own. We invited people from here, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Washington, DC area. And we had a formal welcoming of him. You know, when he landed at the temple, we formally welcomed him as we do in Assam with a respected person with Gayan Bayan. So we did the same thing here. And I wanted to show a quick video of a Gayan Bayan welcoming of Auniyati Hotra Dr. Pitambar Deva Goswami. Next. Okay, I think this what ends the formal presentation. These are a list of references. I will not go over them. We have 12 references. And this ends actually my formal presentation. Thank you very much. What we do in NAAM, or Namgar Association of America, is that we seek to preserve, promote, and celebrate the legacy of Srimanta Sankardeva and inspire the current and future generations of the Assamese diaspora to explore and embrace his philosophy and contributions to the Assamese society. Thank you again. You are mute. You have to unmute.
You can also stop sharing, so we can see you both in full screen.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Bordoloi, for the nice presentation. You started with the essential elements of Hinduism as well as Ekasarana Naamdharma, and thereafter compared it with the elements of Christianity. You gave a brief idea about the background of Hinduism. You went on to compare between Christian monasteries and the sutras of Ekasarana Naamdharma, founded by Srimanta Sankardeva. You dwelt on the organizational structure, economic sources of living, and cultural activities of both the orders. You refer to the sutras of Majuli in this context and also showed Vedya. You said that Ekasarana Naamdharma, in Ekasarana Naamdharma, there is only one supreme being, and he is the same which the manifest reality. But whereas in Christianity, there is a duality of God and the world. This is a major departure. Here I would like to point out that your mention about the time of pilgrimage should have been 32 years of age of Shankardeva. That's it. That is a minor correction I would like to point out. So thank you so much. Now we have among us Dr. Ananya Barua from the Philosophy Department of Hindu College in Delhi University. I request Dr. Ananya Barua to give an observation on the presentation by Dr. Binoy K. Bordoloi. Sham, you may please allow Dr. Ananya Barua to unmute herself.
Yes, thank you so much. Firstly, thanks to Dr. Sanjeev Borkakutida. Thank you again. I have been listening patiently to the entire presentation presented by Sir Bordoloi. And I am indeed delighted the length, the breadth, the depth that Sir has covered during this short span of time. And coming from the Department of Philosophy, I just have a minor observation, and which, I mean, I personally have been trying very, very hard to bring in Gurujana to our University of Delhi syllabus under the philosophy, department, and I'm still fighting for it. Hopefully one day, very soon, Gurujana will be amidst us. Nevertheless, I just thought that, the very principles of Ekasarana Naamdharma and the Panchabhuta, the earth, water, air, fire, ether elements, have so much of a connection with both Christianity and definitely our Vaishnavism, Neo-Vaishnavism, in the sense that whenever maybe we light an earthen lamp, or a Christian lights a candle, it is basically we are activating and celebrating the Panchabhuta elements only. For an earthen lamp is nothing but made of earth. So the earth element or Mother Earth is celebrated here. Fire element definitely chips in. So is the case with candle. The fire element comes in. The wick of the candle again signifies the earth element. The wax, the candle melting down to wax, again, has the liquid element, just like oil for us has the water element there. Further, of course, it goes up and the vapor, the sky or the ether. And Gurujana, I think that's why even our offerings have been very rich protein sprouts and stuff, So he knew about our agrarian community, farmers, basically, and that's how the organic offerings that Gurujana had paved the path for all of us definitely makes me feel that there have been so many positive takeaways from Sir's presentation today, and not necessarily just with Christianity, but even with Sufis or as of that matter, Shias, Sunnis, religion per se. I think we all have a common overlappings, and it is indeed unfortunate that Gurujana has not got the due respect that which he should. However, I think finally IGNCA, Government of India, has just about the trailer is released now on Gurujana. It is entitled as Gurujana, and I had a very humble role there where I have kind of summed up. I mean, I have been working, I must again, I think they say when the Shishya is ready, the Guru appears. And my early, of course, upbringing definitely goes to my auntie, my Jathai, Professor Anjana Choliha, and my mother, Professor Archana Barua. So it is because for them, a little bit of whatever I know, of Gurujana, it's because for my auntie and my mother. So I could so very very well relate. I could so very well connect with whatever Bordoloi sir has said. And I'm greatly thankful to Borkokati sir for giving me this opportunity to chip in. And I look forward for more such enlightening conversations. So I will not drag it much. Sorry, I'm not able to put on my video. It is, Wi-Fi is acting funny today. So that's why. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ananda. You have, in fact, elaborated the point of Dr. Bordoloi that God and his creation are identical. So it's a very nice elaboration. I would like to invite Shyam to present his question. He put a question, so he can speak it out himself.
Hi, more question to asile ji Brajawali bhashat jikini Shangordewe ৰচনা কৰি গৈছিলে বৰগীতে হওক পুথি সমূহে হওক হেতু কিয় ইউজ কৰা হৈছিলে সংস্কৃতটো ইউজ কৰা নাছিলে অসমীয়া ইউজ কৰা নাছিলে ব্ৰজাৱলী ইউজ কৰিছিলে আৰু হেতু ইউজ কৰোতে যেটো মানুহ আছিলে সৰ্বসাধাৰণ জনসাধাৰণ আছিলে তেওঁলোকৰ কিবা অসুবিধা হৈছিল নে বেছি সুবিধা হৈছিল কিমান প্ৰচলিত আছিল ব্ৰজাৱলী সেই সময়ত হেতু মই জানিব খুজিছো
হেতু ডক্টৰ বৰদলৈ ক'বনে
মই অলপ যি বুজো ব্ৰজাৱলী শংকৰদেৱৰ সংস্কৃতত লিখা নাছিলে because he wanted common men to understand the concepts and the rhymes of say Bhagavad Gita in his kirtan that মানে বুজি পায় but at the same time drama বা literary work not exactly Assamese কিন্তু সেই part of North India অসম মিলি পেলাই যেটো মানে সেই সময়ত প্ৰিভেলেন্ট যেটো আছিল এনেকে ব্ৰজাৱলী বুলি ওয়েস্ট বেংগলত কৈছিলে so ব্ৰজাৱলী in north east সেই ল্যাঙ্গুৱেজ লিখিছিলে the ব্ৰজাৱলী লিখাটো অসমীয়াৰ দৰেই অসমীয়াৰ পৰা বহুত বেলেগ নহয় কিন্তু it more of a respectable form of literacy বুলি ক'ব পাৰো মোৰ হেৰিখন ব্ৰজাৱলী যিখন কিতাপ আমাৰ ইয়াৰে ডক্টৰ কৃপা বৰা লেট কৃপা বৰা তেওঁলোকৰ ফেমিলি ফাউণ্ডেশ্যনৰ পৰা এখন কিতাপ উলিয়াইছিলে ব্ৰজাৱলী আৰু অসমীয়াৰ ট্ৰান্সলেশ্যন তাৰ যেটো মানে বেটুপা তাৰ পৰা মই অকমান পেৰাগ্ৰাফ পঢ়ি দিব পাৰো মানে what other people have talked about just give me a second
টিকেটে এইটো বিচাৰে মানে মই অলপমান এড কৰি দিওঁ ব্ৰজাৱলী যেটো ভাষা সেটো আসলতে সেই সময়ৰ অসমীয়া মানে অসমীয়াৰ কলকিয়েল ফৰ্ম আৰু সেই সময়ৰ কলকিয়েল ফৰ্মটো অসম বেংগল মিথিলা যিখিনি বৰ্তমান বিহাৰ এই গোটেইখিনি অঞ্চলত প্ৰায় একেই আছিলে আৰু সেই সময়ৰ যেটো লিংগুৱা ফ্ৰাংকা অলমোষ্ট লিংগুৱা ফ্ৰাংকা সেইটোৱে আছিল ব্ৰজাৱলী আৰু ব্ৰজাৱলীৰ বিষয়ে ইতিমধ্যে যিসকল ভাষা তত্ত্ববিদ তেওঁলোকে যথেষ্টখিনি গৱেষণা কৰিছে আৰু তেওঁলোকে কৈছে যে এতিয়াৰ যেটো মডাৰ্ণ হিন্দী ল্যাঙ্গুৱেজ ভাৰতৰ সেটোৰ সোৰ্সটো হ'ল শংকৰদেৱৰ অংকীয়া নাটৰ ব্ৰজাৱলী ভাষা মই এইটো পঢ়িছো ডক্টৰ কপিলা বাৎসায়নৰ কিতাপত so we can be proud that Srimanta Shankardeva is actual father of the Hindi language through his Brajavali embedded in Ankia plays.
Moi at a few lines from his book এখন হলগে উলিয়াইছে সত্যনাথ বৰা আৰু তেওঁলোকৰ পৰিয়ালৰ পৰা হাৰনা বৰা দি 2011 পাবলিছ হোৱা কিতাপ ব্ৰজাৱলী অভিধান তাত লিখা মতে মহাপুৰুষ শংকৰদেৱে সমগ্ৰ ভাৰত ভূমি ভ্ৰমণ কৰি তৎকালীন ব্ৰজভাষা আৰু অন্যান্য উত্তৰ ভাৰতীয় ভাষাবোৰ গভীৰভাৱে অধ্যয়ন কৰি তাৰাৰ গীত আৰু নাটক উশ্ৰব্য ব্ৰজাৱলী ভাষা প্ৰয়োগ কৰে এই ভাষাৰ বংগদেশ বা উৰিষ্যাত চলা ব্ৰজাৱলীতকৈ বহু ক্ষেত্ৰত পাৰ্থক্য আছে অসমত কিন্তু সেই সময়ৰ পৰা এই ভাষাটো ব্ৰজাৱলী নামেৰেহে সুপ্ৰসিদ্ধ মহাপুৰুষ শংকৰদেৱ মাধৱদেৱ আৰু তেৰাসৱৰ অনুগামী সন্ত মহন্তসৱে গীত নাটত প্ৰয়োগ কৰা এই ব্ৰজাৱলী ভাষাৰ অভিধান আৰু ব্যাকৰণ আমি প্ৰকাশ কৰিছোঁ গতিকে ব্ৰজাৱলী ভাষাটো মানুহে বুজি পায় কিন্তু একজেক্টলি এট দ্য সেম টাইম এটা কলকুৱেল লেংগুৱেজ নহয় সেই সময়ৰ প্ৰিভেলেণ্ট অসমীয়াৰ লেংগুৱেজকে অলপ বেলেগ আৰু তাৰ সেইকাৰণে অভিধানো ক্ৰিয়েট কৰিছে গতিকে সেইটো বুলিয়েই বুজি পোৱা গৈছে so it's more of a respectable form of a language.
Thank you.
Do you have any more question?
You can unmute my video.
শুনা পাইছা?
হয়।
নমস্কাৰ।
নমস্কাৰ।
আজি এইটো সেশনটো বৰ ভাল লাগিল। বিনয় দা, বিনোদ খাদ্ৰিয়া দা, সঞ্জীৱ বুটকৰ চিনি পাইছা? আমি একেলগে ডাঙৰ হৈছিলোঁ গুৱাহাটী ইউনিভাৰ্চিটি কেম্পাছ। তুমি
মনত পৰিছে।
সুন্দৰবৰীত। মোৰ দেৱৰ লগৰ তুমি। মোৰ কোৱা মতে আমাৰ আটাহঁতে কোৱা মতে আকাৰ ইকাৰ ৰেফ এই মানে বস্তুবোৰ যুক্তাক্ষৰ ইউজ নহয় সৰ্বসাধাৰণে জানিবলৈ গতিকে it was very similar to some of the Bordoloi that was spoken by like our Dhuba in Jalukbari campus বহুত similarities Orissa Bihar অসমৰ সহজভাৱে লিখিব পৰাৰ কাৰণে এইটো লিখিছে এইটো কিংবদন্তি বুধৰ মই কৈছো মোৰ অমল এইবিলাকত কোনো আকাৰিকা নাই সেইটোৱে মই ভাবো ধন্যবাদ
Okay. Thank you. মই সুধিছো হেৰি অলপমান মই হেডফোনত ৰূপম গুৱাহাটীৰ জেবি ৰুমত দেখিছো গতিকে জেবি ৰূপমে যথেষ্ট মিউজিক সম্বন্ধে ষ্টাডি কৰে আমি একেলগে বৰগীতো গাইছিলোতো কোৰেল ফৰ্ম মানে খ্ৰীষ্টিয়ানিটি মিউজিকৰ আৰু আমাৰ he is knowledgeable গতিকে আমি এতিয়া চাৰ্চ মিউজিকত অকমান পিয়ানো আদি শুনা গ'ল সেইটোৰ সম্বন্ধে what are your thoughts? Unmute কৰিব লাগিব
Yeah, thank you, Binoy. Am I audible?
Yeah.
So regarding answering to a question first, I would rather put I have in fact 3 questions first. I was just taking the opportunity to ask few questions. Here in the slide, Ekasarana Naamdharma, the comment that was given by Lokinath Besburua, can you please elaborate just a little? If you go to your slide.
তাত তেখেতে লিখিছিলে যে মানে শংকৰদেৱৰ কথাখিনি আমি যদি বুজি পাওঁ এইটো আছিলে যে to worship God we do not need any intermediate person. We do not need a priest in a way, which is very prevalent at that time, or prevalent in temple, that and a common man cannot really worship directly. You need somebody intervening or in between to serve God, so to say. Moi bhabo Brahmin community will generalize korile. This is not nice. That is probably not the intention. Though they created problems for him and they sided with the king and king chased him away from Nagaon to Kusbihar. All those things happen. Borkakoti probably would know more. Happen. Kintu their concept is a peace community we don't need. You can, it's, you know, all of Mahaprasad Loipula, you can do and you can worship. You don't even need to look at any statue. The Kitab Khan, the Gunamala by Kirtan Gokha is good enough. Very simplified way of doing it. আৰু তেওঁ জোৰ দিছিলে যে সেই কালচাৰেল কথাবিলাক খল তলৰ পৰা আৰম্ভ কৰি পেলাই যিখিনি কথা বতৰা সেইখিনিত cultural aspects were emphasized to unite people together. এতিয়া নামঘৰত ভাওনা কৰিবলৈ হলে it doesn't matter whether you are high class, low class, or Hindu or Muslim. এটা মই পাইছো হেৰি আমাৰ ইছমাইল হুছেইন বৰপেটাৰ ফালৰ মানুহ তেখেতে মোক কয় তেওঁ মানে সেইফালে বৰপেটাৰ ফালে কৃষ্ণৰ ৰোলো লয় এটা মানুহে কয় ই হিন্দু হল আৰু কিন্তু তেওঁ আচলতে হিন্দু হোৱা নাই হি ষ্টিল এ মুছলিম কিন্তু he does that. So Shankardev could do that. He could unite all people. Doesn't matter what religious beliefs or various subclasses were there. In Namghar, you are all equal, depending on your skills and interests. You do what you like. So he had that capacity to unite together. That is the part. Gotike moi hedu buliye moi buju. So that's my thought.
Yeah, and that answer that you have given is straight away reflecting the second question. The answer goes there. It's actually regarding requirement of cultural activities in a search. You have mentioned that it is not required. That is a point where I differ, because the search is guided by the philosophy of Aristotle and Plato that music is very much required just to unite the people, as music has the only force that can tame a people who is disturbed, and so also gymnastics to train the body. So these two things that where I would like to differ in that music is prime very much required in searches to have all their just very similar to our
Okay.
and the whole entire credit of the search goes to that Notre Dame Cathedral of France from that was around 1200 AD when it was established, and from where the music flourished, polyphonic music. And before that, it was the Gregorian chants that were in the search from around coded around 900 AD. So that is one point where I would like to differ.
Okay.
But I will clarify later on in a very elaborate way. And all the modern music that we have today, all the theories that we have today, everything was documented by the search, and they had all the priests who would like to copy music. Even in that video, you can see when the congregation was approaching, you can see one priest was playing the organ.
Right.
So that is where that was the requirement, that music has to be very structured. Just a bit later, we have seen that a choir was singing on the background, and that grammar has to be within that framework. What was the occasion, whether it was religious or in praise. So everything was very structured. So that is one very major thing we would like to elaborate later on. And
Okay.
last very important question. Your comparative study, this presentation regarding Christianity and Ekasarana, do you somewhere speculate that Shankardev must have visited a church during his pilgrimage in India? মানে ভাবে নেকি তেওঁ ক'ৰবাত খ্ৰীষ্টিয়ান চাৰ্চত এদিন হয়তো সোমাল দেখিলে গোটেইখিনি বস্তু?
না মই যিমানখিনি পঢ়িছো মই ক'তো পঢ়োতে মই I do not find a specific reference to it.
Yes, it is
not. I cannot cite any reference. কিন্তু ইমান 12 বছৰ যদি থাকিলে আৰু সেই সময়তো ডেফিনেটলি যাবও পাৰে। এতিয়া কিছুমান কথা ইমানকে জনা নাযায়। মই এবাৰ বম্বে যাওঁতে গৈছিলো, হেৰি এইটো কি জুইচ মানুহৰ এইটো কি কয় church বুলি নকয় নহয়, জুইচ মানে synagogue. They have a synagogue. মই যেতিয়া প্ৰথম Baxter assignment লৈছিলো, we had a lawyer accompany me. He was from Florida. So আমি গৈছো বম্বেত হোটেলত আছো, he called, okay, I'll take you to a synagogue. And he is Jaime Einstein. তাৰ নাম আছিলে Jaime Einstein. So he was Jewish. He will take me to a synagogue. He said, I never been to a synagogue myself. No, I know where it is. So he took me to a synagogue in Mumbai city. So those who are in it, they know. I mean, he is visiting from Florida and he knows where a synagogue is in Mumbai. Manor interest loy kotha. The church definitely hoyto he সময়ত asile থাকিবও পাৰে visit কৰিবও পাৰে কিন্তু I do not have a specific reference I have seen.
Yeah. So that's why we also more অলপমান কিতাপ I was searching for any reference, but we do not find as such straight record. So that is a point to be maybe a research for future generations to come. Maybe
actually we cannot give a categorical answer yes or no to that question. And
yes,
I would like to inform here that Rupam is going to deliver a lecture in this series on Shankardeva's music and Western music. It's in our plan.
Okay, very good, very good.
Thank you, Binoy, and
Thank you.
thank you, Sanjay, for giving me this opportunity to put my opinion.
We have with us Dr. Ratul Chandra Bara, former registrar of Srimanta Shankardeva University. Dr. Bara, would you like to say something? Actually, he is the next speaker. He is the speaker of the next webinar on Guru Nanak and Srimanta Shankardeva comparative study.
Unmute কৰিব লাগিব নেকি? Cannot unmute.
Hello.
Yeah. শুনিছো।
মই মোৰ পিকচাৰটো নেদেখিব পাৰে। জয় গুৰু শংকৰ। আজি এই বিষয়টো শুনি বৰ ভাল লাগিছে। আমাৰ সভাপতি ডক্টৰ সঞ্জীৱ কুমাৰ বৰকাকতি আৰু স্পিকাৰ ডক্টৰ বিনয় বৰদলৈ and participants. ডক্টৰ সঞ্জীৱ কুমাৰ বৰকাকতি অলপতে এটা যোৰহাট জিলা সাহিত্য সভাই প্ৰৱৰ্তন কৰা প্ৰথমবাৰৰ বাবে ডক্টৰ বৰকাকতিয়ে শংকৰী সাহিত্য সংস্কৃতি বঁটাটো লাভ কৰিছে। তেখেতলৈ আপোনালোক জনাইছো, তেখেতক অভিনন্দন জনাইছো। আজি মই শংকৰদেৱ চাৰ্যৰ এজন সামান্য ছাত্ৰ। আজি যেটো বিষয়, এই বিষয়টোত শংকৰদেৱক বেলেগ এটা পৰিসৰত অধ্যয়ন কৰিবলৈ চিন্তা কৰিবলৈ যে বিষয়টো দিয়া হৈছে মই খুব ভাল পাইছো। আৰু ডক্টৰ বৰদলৈৰ পৰা কেইটামান নজনা কথা মই জানিলো। বোধকৰম মোক শুনি আছে নহয় বাৰু?
শুনিছো।
তাত কিন্তু কেইটামান কথা মই ৰেফাৰ কৰিব বিচাৰো। আচলতে শংকৰদেৱৰ যেটো একশৰণ নাম ধৰ্ম, এই মেডিয়াভেল ইণ্ডিয়াৰ এইটো তৃতীয় হিন্দু ধৰ্মৰ সংস্কাৰ আন্দোলন আছিল মেডিয়াভেল পিৰিয়ডত। প্ৰথমটো বুদ্ধ জৈন আৰু তাৰপিছত এটি ভক্তি আন্দোলন। এই ভক্তি আন্দোলনটো আছিলে হিন্দু ধৰ্মৰ ৰিফৰ্মেশ্যনৰ কাৰণে। শংকৰদেৱৰ হিন্দু ধৰ্মৰ নকৈ সেইটো মহাপুৰুষেজিম বুলি ধৰ্ম, নাম ধৰ্ম বুলি কোৱা হৈছে। এইটো নাম ধৰ্ম আৰু তাৰ মূল গ্ৰন্থ হৈছে শ্ৰীমদ ভাগৱতখনে হৈছে তেখেতৰ গ্ৰন্থ। তেখেতে গীতাখন তেখেতৰ শিষ্য মাধৱদেৱ বা শংকৰদেৱে অসমীয়ালৈ অনুবাদ নাই কৰা। তাত কথা আছে জ্ঞান, কৰ্ম, জ্ঞান আৰু ভক্তি তিনিটাক শেষত গৈ পেলাই ভক্তি শ্ৰেষ্ঠ বুলি ক'লে। সেইকাৰণে সাধাৰণ মানুহক মানে এই তিনিটা হেৰিয়ে অলপ বিসংগতি আনিব বুলি সেইটো সেই গীতা শাস্ত্ৰখন তেখেতসকলে এইখন অসমীয়ালৈ অনুবাদ কৰা নাই। দ্বিতীয় কথা, এই ব্ৰজাৱলী ভাষাটো মূল কথাটো হৈছে যে উত্তৰ ভাৰতৰ পৰা আদি কৰি বহুত লোকে ব্ৰজাৱলীটো বুজি পাব বুলি তেখেতৰ। সেইকাৰণে মই ভাবো এটা কথা এৰি যোৱা হৈছে, অৱশ্যে ডক্টৰ বৰকাকতিয়ে কৈছে লিংগুৱা ফ্ৰাংকাৰ কথা, সেইটোৱে মূল কথা আছিল বুলি আমি ভাবো। আৰু দ্বিতীয় কথা, ডক্টৰ W.L. স্মিথে ব্ৰজাৱলী বুলি এটা দীৰ্ঘ গৱেষণামূলক প্ৰবন্ধ আছে। তেখেতে তাত এটা বাক্য লিখিছে ইন্ট্ৰডাকশ্যনত যে শংকৰদেৱে ছিংগুল হেণ্ডেডলি ব্ৰজাৱলী ভাষাটো ডেভেলপ কৰি লৈছিলে লিখিবৰ কাৰণে। আজি এইটো ভাষাৰ বিষয়ে। তাৰপিছত আৰু কেইটামান কথা চেলভেশ্যনৰ কথা কোৱা হৈছে। এইটো বেদৰ বা আপোনাৰ উপনিষদত আমাৰ মুক্তিৰ কথা কোৱা হয়। কিন্তু শংকৰদেৱৰ যিটো এখন নাম ধৰ্ম সেইটো মুক্তিৰ কথা নহয়, সেইটো হৈছে ডিভোশনটোহে আল্টিমেট এইম। সেইকাৰণে নামঘোষাত প্ৰথম ঘোষা যোগাত মহাপুৰুষ মাধৱদেৱে লিখিছে মুক্তিটো নিস্পৃহ যিটো সেই ভকতক নাম। গতিকে অন্য বৈষ্ণৱ বা বৈষ্ণৱ ধৰ্ম নহয় আচলতে ভক্তি আন্দোলন, আৰু সেই বৈষ্ণৱৰ আৰু ভক্তি আন্দোলন ভক্তিৰ লগত পাৰ্থক্য কি তাত সেই কথাখিনি এটা বেলেগ বিষয় হ'ব। এতিয়া সেই যিটো আল্টিমেট এইম সেইটো এটা স্পষ্ট হোৱা ভাল। আৰু এই একচৰণৰ যিটো ইছেঞ্চিয়েল এলিমেণ্টছ তাত হৈছে কৃষ্ণ আৰু মাংময় মূৰ্তি ভাগৱত প্ৰতিষ্ঠা কৰা হয় থাপনাত বা গুৰুআসনত। আৰু তাত দেৱতী বা ভক্তই পোনপটীয়া তাত মানে ভগৱানক আৰাধনা কৰিব পাৰে, প্ৰাৰ্থনা কৰিব পাৰে, তাত কোনো মেডিয়েটৰ বা ইণ্টাৰমিডিয়েৰী নাই। আৰু সেই কথাটো খ্ৰীষ্টান ধৰ্মত যিটো প্ৰটেষ্টাণ্ট গ্ৰুপৰ যিটো মাৰ্টিন লুথাৰে কৰিছিলে, সেইটোৰ লগত শংকৰদেৱৰ আমাৰ যিটো ভাৰতবৰ্ষত মধ্যযুগৰ যিটো ভক্তি আন্দোলন হৈছে সংস্কাৰ আন্দোলন, তাৰ লগত কিছু মিল আছে। মাৰ্টিন লুথাৰ এই প্ৰটেষ্টাণ্ট গীৰ্জাবিলাকৰ বাহিৰত তেওঁ মই পাহৰিছো কিমানটা পইণ্টছ তেখেতে আঁৰি দিছিলে হেৰি কিছুমান, আৰু সেইটো তেখেতৰ আচলতে তেখেতক তাৰ বিপক্ষেও বিচাৰ হৈছিলে। আৰু এই যিটো শংকৰদেৱে কৰিছিলে তাকো যদি প্ৰিষ্টহুডটো নাইকিয়া কৰিছে। আৰু তেনেকে হেৰিয়াটো ক্লাৰ্জি বা সেই প্ৰিষ্টহুডৰ প্ৰটেষ্টাণ্ট হেৰিয়ে ক'লে মাৰ্টিন লুথাৰেও তাক সংস্কাৰ সাধন কৰিবলৈ কৰিছিলে, সেইটো আমাক বুৰঞ্জীয়ে কয়। এতিয়া সেই কথাকেইটা আমি জানি ল'ব লাগিব। খ্ৰীষ্টিয়ান যিটো ধৰ্মৰ বিষয়ে ক'লে সেইটো বৰ সুন্দৰকে আমাৰ ডক্টৰ বিনয় বৰদলৈ ডাঙৰীয়াই কৈছে। মই বহুত কেইবাটাও কথা জানিলো। 3টা ভাগ আছে খ্ৰীষ্টান ধৰ্মৰ, কিন্তু মহাপুৰুষা ধৰ্মৰ ভাগ এটাই, কিন্তু পিছত এইখিনি ভাগ সংহতি বিভাজন কৰিছে। সেইখিনি শংকৰদেৱৰ নাছিলে আচলতে। যি কি নহওক, আৰু কথা হৈছে কি যিটো খ্ৰীষ্টানিটি আৰু শংকৰদেৱৰ খ্ৰীষ্টানিটিয়ে দেখা গৈছে যে বাইবেলতো মই দেখিছো তাত সকলো জীৱ, যেনেকে শংকৰদেৱে কৈছে যত জীৱ জংগম কীট পতংগ অগণগ জগতেৰি কায়া, গোটেই কীট পতংগ মানুহ আদি সকলোৱে তেওঁৰ কায়া বুলি কৈছে ভগৱানৰ। আৰু কৈছে সকলো প্ৰাণীক দেখিবে ক আত্মসম উপায় মধ্যতিটো আতি মুখ্যত। কিন্তু বাইবেলৰ যিটো ফিলচফি আৰু শংকৰদেৱৰ ফিলচফি তাত এইটো মেইন কথাটো ডিফাৰ কৰে। তাত বাইবেলত এই মেছেজবিলাক নাই, এই ফিলচফিটো নাই। তাত মই পঢ়িছো নিউ টেষ্টামেণ্ট, এই বিষয়টো নাই পোৱা। শংকৰদেৱৰ ব্যাপক আছিলে, আৰু সেই ফিলচফিটো আনিছে ভাগৱতত আছে। এই ভাগৱতত তাত সমস্ত প্ৰাণীক মানে মানুহৰ সকলো মানুহকে উচ্চ নিচ চতুৰ্বৰ্ণৰ যিবোৰ কথা আছে এই সকলোবিলাকে শংকৰদেৱে নচ্ছাত কৰি সকলোকে শৰণ ল'ব পাৰে, আৰু ভগৱানৰ হৰিনাম শ্ৰৱণ কীৰ্তন কৰিব পৰাৰ যিটো অধিকাৰ সেইটো ভাগৱতে দিলে। যিটো ইস্কনৰ যিটো প্ৰতিষ্ঠাপক প্ৰভুপাদে সেই কথাটো প্ৰথমতে 11জন যিটো শিষ্য কৰি লৈছিলে, সেইটো তেওঁ শৰণ নহয় দীক্ষা, হিপ্পী 11জন হিপ্পী আছিলে। তেওঁলোকক দিছে ভাগৱতৰ 2টা শ্লোকৰ ভিত্তিতে হিপ্পীবিলাকক দিছে, নহলে তেওঁ ব্ৰাহ্মণ হৈ পেলাই এই সকলক দিয়া কথাটো নাছিলে। কিন্তু সেইটো তেখেতে জাষ্টিফিকেশ্যন দিছে। তাৰপিছতে আহিলে যে কেইটামান কথা কৈছে। সত্ৰৰ কথা কওঁতে মই ক'ম অকমান শংকৰদেৱে সত্ৰ প্ৰতিষ্ঠা নাই কৰা। শংকৰদেৱে যিখিনি কৈছিলে থান আছিলে, যেনে বৰদোৱা থান, আপোনাৰ পাটবাউসী থান, এই বেলগুৰিটো সেইখন থান, সত্ৰ দামোদৰদেৱ আৰু শংকৰদেৱ মাধৱদেৱৰ দিনত সত্ৰ প্ৰতিষ্ঠা হৈছে। আৰু এতিয়া সত্ৰ যি মাজুলী সত্ৰৰ কথা কৈছে তাত মই এটা কথা ডিফাৰ কৰোঁ। তাত যিখিনি 4 সত্ৰৰ যিটো আছে আউনীআটী, দক্ষিণপাট, গড়মূৰ আৰু কুৰাবাহী সত্ৰ, সেইখন ৰাজ সত্ৰ বুলি কয়। তাত বিগ্ৰহ আছে। শংকৰদেৱৰ ধৰ্মত যিটো থাপনাত থাকে তাত ভাগৱতৰ যিটো বাঙৈ মূৰ্তি, কৃষ্ণ বাঙৈ মূৰ্তি ভাগৱত তাত গুণমালা প্ৰতিষ্ঠা কৰা হয়। সেইটো তাত কোনো বিগ্ৰহ নাই। শংকৰদেৱৰ কালচাৰ বা ধৰ্ম হেৰিয়াত বিগ্ৰহৰ স্থান নাই। আৰু তাত এই যিখিনি সত্ৰৰ কথা কোৱা হৈছে তাত বহুতে শংকৰদেৱৰ ৰচিত পুথি তাত পাঠ নকৰে এই 4 সত্ৰত। এতিয়া যি কি নহওক, শংকৰদেৱৰ আদৰ্শ সত্ৰত সম্পূৰ্ণভাৱে হেৰি কৰিছে বুলি মই নকওঁ, কিন্তু বৰঙাজুলি সত্ৰৰ যিজন চলাজন অধিকাৰ হৰে কৃষ্ণ মহন্তদেৱে বৰ্তমান এই শংকৰদেৱৰ যিটো ধৰ্ম দৰ্শন সেইটো বহুলাংশে তেখেতে পালন কৰিছিল আৰু তেখেতৰ পৰৱৰ্তী যি সত্ৰাধিকাৰ সেইজন হৈছে নিৰঞ্জন বড়ো মহন্ত এইটোৱে প্ৰমাণ কৰে যিজনক নিৰঞ্জন বড়ো যিটো এটা জনজাতিৰ প্ৰতিনিধি তেখেত সত্ৰাধিকাৰ হৈছে এইটো হৈছে শংকৰদেৱৰ ফিলচফি আৰু শংকৰদেৱৰ ফিলচফি যিটো হয় খ্ৰীষ্টানিটিৰ কথা চাবলৈ গ'লে মিউজিকৰ কথা কৈছে শংকৰদেৱে এজন ডাঙৰ মিউজিচিয়ান আৰ্টিষ্ট he was a great humanist, is a great scholar, dramatist, and whatnot. So that particular aspect, that music in Christianity and Naamdharma of Shankardeva, this Mahapurushism, there's a vast difference between the cultural aspects of Shankardeva and Mahapurushism Christianity. In the concept of God, of course, there is some similarity in the ultimate God, Jesus, the Son of God, but the Krishna himself a God. And there is direct, Bhakta or Bhagavanor, পোনপটীয়া সম্পৰ্ক স্থাপন কৰা হয় আৰু সেইটোকে কোৱা হৈছে যে ভগৱানে মানে যিটো নামেই ভগৱান আৰু নাম আৰু নামী ভগৱানৰ মাজত পাৰ্থক্য নাই আৰু ডিভটিয়ে তেখেতৰ ভকতে সেইটো আয়ত্ত কৰিব পাৰে এইকেইটা কথা আপোনাৰ আছে আৰু আজি মূল কথাটো হৈছে যে সংস্কৃতত কিয় লিখা নাছিল এটা কথা হ'ল যে ভক্তি ৰত্নাকৰ কথাখন সংস্কৃতত লিখা এখন মহাপুৰুষিজমৰ মূল যিটো দৰ্শন আছে সেইটো সংস্কৃত যিখন ভক্তি ৰত্নাকৰত আছে আৰু নাটকৰ বহুতো শ্লোক সংস্কৃত গতিকে শংকৰদেৱে সংস্কৃতত নিলিখা বুলি কোৱাটো আমাৰ ভুল হ'ব তেখেতে লিখিছে সংস্কৃতত তেখেতে পাৰিলেহেঁতেন কিন্তু তেখেতৰ মনত আছিলে মানসপটত যে এই সৰ্বসাধাৰণ মানুহ যিবিলাকক হিন্দু ধৰ্মই যুগ যুগ ধৰি যিটো ধৰ্মাধিকাৰৰ পৰা যদি বিৰত ৰাখিছিল আনকি বেদ পঢ়িবও নিদিয়ে সেইখিনি জানিব নিদিয়ে এইটো সিক্ৰেট থিং আছিলে সেইখিনি শংকৰদেৱে এইটো মুকলি কৰি দিয়াত আৰু যিটো মানুহৰ মুখৰ ভাষাত অসমীয়া ভাষাত লিখাৰ কাৰণে ডাঙৰ তেখেত প্ৰত্যাহ্বানৰ সন্মুখীন হৈছিল আৰু এইটো ৰজাক হেৰি দিছিলে যে এইটো মানুহৰ ভাষাত কিয় লিখিলে এইটো দেৱভাষা সংস্কৃত আৰু সংস্কৃত যিকোনো লোকক সংস্কৃত ভাষাটো পঢ়িবলৈ দিয়া সেইদিনালৈকে 20 শতিকালৈকে যিবোৰ সংস্কৃত টল তাত এই ব্ৰাহ্মণ সম্প্ৰদায়ৰ বাহিৰে অন্য সংস্কৃত পঢ়াটো বাধা আছিল কিন্তু শংকৰদেৱ আৰু মধ্যযুগৰ যিসকল ধৰ্ম প্ৰচাৰক আছিল সেইসকলে জনগণৰ সাধাৰণ মানুহৰ মুখৰ ভাষাত কথা লিখিছিল ভাৰ্নিকুলাৰ তেখেতে শাস্ত্ৰ বিলাক হৈ গৈছিল মধ্যযুগত আৰু সেইটো কথা আমাৰ ভাৰতবৰ্ষ আমাৰ যিটো ভক্তি আন্দোলন আৰু পাশ্চাত্যত ইউৰোপত যিটো এটা আন্দোলন হৈছিলে সেই খ্ৰীষ্টানিটিৰ সংস্কাৰ হৈছিলে সেইটোৰ লগত বহুতো মিল আছে গতিকে আমি খ্ৰীষ্টানিটি চাবলৈ গ'লে একশৰণ নামধৰ্ম চাবলৈ গ'লে এইটো প্ৰটেষ্টাণ্ট বা খ্ৰীষ্টানিটিৰ যিটো সংস্কাৰ হ'ল সেই কথাটো তাত আনিব লাগিব আমাৰ এজন গৱেষকে মহাপুৰুষ শ্ৰীমন্ত শংকৰদেৱ বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ৰ তাত এজন গৱেষকে এইটো এটা বিষয় ইতিমধ্যে তেওঁ থিচিছ সাবমিট কৰিছে এই বিষয়টো তেখেতে গৱেষণা কৰিছে গতিকে মই দীঘলীয়া নকৰো বহুত কথা আপোনালোকক ক'লো এই বিষয়টোত মানে বহুত কথা আমাৰ শংকৰদেৱৰ কথাখিনি শুদ্ধভাৱে প্ৰতিষ্ঠা কৰিবলৈ হ'লে এই গোটেই কথাখিনি আয়ত্ত কৰিব লাগিব আৰু এইখিনি শুদ্ধ ৰূপত আমি দাঙি ধৰিলেহে এই কথাখিনি বাহিৰত প্ৰচাৰ কৰাটো ভাল হ'ব উচিত হ'ব বুলি ভাবো মই এজন ছাত্ৰ হিচাপে এইখিনি কথা ক'লো ইয়াত যদি কিবা ভুল হৈছে আপোনালোকে অপৰাধ নধৰিব আৰু মই বহুতো ক'বলগীয়া আছিল যদিও আজি নকওঁ সকলোকে ধন্যবাদ জ্ঞাপন কৰিছো আৰু বিশেষকৈ ডক্টৰ সঞ্জীৱ কুমাৰ বৰকাকতিয়ে এই যে এইটো এটা প্ৰয়াস কৰিছে এইটো আটাইতকৈ প্ৰশংসনীয় আৰু যিসকলে ইতিমধ্যে ইয়াত বক্তৃতা প্ৰদান কৰিছে মই প্ৰায়খিনি শুনিছো খুব সুন্দৰ হৈছে আজি খ্ৰীষ্টানিটিৰ বিষয়ে ডক্টৰ বৰদলৈয়ে যিখিনি কথা ক'লে মই কেইবাটাও নজনা কথা জানিলো তেখেতকো অভিনন্দন জ্ঞাপন কৰিছো সকলোকে মই ধন্যবাদ জ্ঞাপন কৰি মই এইটো মন্তব্য দিলো জয় গুৰু শ্ৰীমন্ত শংকৰ
ৰাজীৱ মই অৰবিন্দ ফুকনে এটা কুৱেশ্যন সুধিব পাৰোনে
হয়
মোৰ এটা কথা সুধিব পাৰোনে প্ৰথমতে মই খুব ভাল লাগিলে বিনয় বৰদলৈ আৰু তুমি যি এইটো ৱেবিনাৰ কৰিছা আৰু বহুত কথা জানিলো এই সত্ৰৰ বিষয়ে ধৰ্মৰ বিষয়ে সকলোৰে এটা খুব ভাল লাগিলে The reason I want to say something, one main thing, as you know, Majuli is eroding. You know that. And original size was 1,250 square meter. Now it is less than 500. And is in 20 years, there'll be no Majuli. Moi ami core professional group for Brahmaputra Maji 10 বছৰ লাগি আছো ব্ৰহ্মপুত্ৰ একো নকৰে water resource একো নকৰে এতিয়া মই চিঠি প্ৰাইম মিনিষ্টাৰ লৈ দিছো বুজিছা নাই প্ৰাইম মিনিষ্টাৰ যোৱা বছৰলৈ মই দিলো 16 পেজত লিখিলো গোটেই আৰু 600 ডকুমেন্ট দিছো যে how Majuli is eroding also how Brahmaputra is creating millions of dollars each year. Even Majuli, last year they spent 135 crores. Where does all this money goes? All down the water. Anyway, moi etue koisu tumalokar iman dharmar ki kotha ki korisa hotor etia we have to maintain etia 70 khon hotor asil etia goi 30 kiman ase gotike we as a mukjodi amak jodi support dia moi etia lagisu ei CPGB moi etia NGO aru tax exam buli register korilu Washington state of etia kori moi nije paisa tuli arambho korisu aru bhagavane korile within a month will start designing how to save Majuli. Already my both article most probably you have heard about it. Some of the article I wrote about Majuli, but some government are also not doing anything. So we need support from all of you. And Binoy loi Sanjay moi tumalkoloi I'll send you the letter I wrote to the Prime Minister. That led to me last year tumalko jana I got the Prabhasi Bharatya Sanman. Tumalko jana sobe jana sage. Gotike moi I more earnest request যে তোমালোকে সাপোর্ট দিয়া এনে সবে মোৰ আমাৰ লগত সাপোর্ট দিয়া যে মাজুলী we need to save ধন্যবাদ দেই সকলকে শুনি বৰ ভাল লাগিলে খুব ভাল লাগিলে
with you actually in 2012 we were the first organization in Assam to organize an international conference on Majuli and you were the main speaker there.
Yeah.
So I think that created a sort of intellectual movement in Assam and some 4 years ago I brought out a book also on Majuli and it became one of the most important book published in entire India in 2017. So we are doing our best. Now I think it is time to wrap up this session because it is already past 8:30. So I think Dr. Bordoloi, is it okay to conclude this session?
Yeah, I think so. I think we spent hour and a half more question again. I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed whatever I could prepare and deliver. Obviously, and this dialogue has to continue amongst those of us who are interested in this subject matter, and we hope to continue. That is part of our mission and vision in our NAAM. So, let's continue.
Akodisa myself mostly.
Now offering the vote of thanks. Kiba baki thakile okay please
no heri Arvind dadar kotha to moi yat likhilu POGL Dr. PK Dr. Prakriti Oil and Gas Company teu buku apnalokot কাম কৰিছিল to survive all the islands in on the Brahmaputra ডাঙৰ effort সেইকাৰণে জনাই থলো so we have to use civil engineering to save the land আৰু intellectual curiosity to save the religion এখন নামধৰ্ম ধন্যবাদ
Tarmane Majuli is a center of the Sankari culture. So saving Majuli is important in the context of the Sankardeva's legacy. Now to conclude, I offer my vote of thanks to Dr. Binoy Kumar Bordoloi for his beautiful and lucid presentation on the topic given today. I also offer my sincere thanks to Dr. Ratul Kumar Bora, who has almost given a supplementary lecture, and he has added some very deep analysis on the issue raised by Dr. Bordoloi. So thanks goes to him. Thanks also goes to Dr. Ananya Borua from Delhi University for her observation. Also, thank you, Dr. Sakundala Chaudhary, Rupam Jyoti Bora, Shyam Dev Chaudhary, the Secretary of NAAM Association of America, who has been maintaining the technical aspect of this webinar and has been a prime mover behind this event today. So thank you everyone. Participate including Dr. Arvind Fukan. So thank you everyone. So with this, we conclude this session today. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.